Hello, welcome to today's Launch and Learn session part 5. Today we shall be looking at how EMaSS handles site development in an estate. Now, agenda for today will include risk associated with site workers in estate development. How does EMaSS handle estate development? We shall be looking at site development membership area. How to access EMaSS online launch and learn video series. And finally, we shall be looking at how you can get EMaSS installed in your estate. Now, let's quickly look at risk associated with site workers in estate development. Now, site workers can be a source of major concern with respect to estate security. Thieves, armed robbers, and kidnappers can lurk around as site workers in an estate with various motives. Thieves, armed robbers, and kidnappers can sometimes sleep in an uncompleted building as a site worker within the estate premises and carry out a clandestine activity at night. Coming into estate as site workers could be a good opportunity for thieves, armed robbers, and kidnappers to monitor and target a victim. How does EMaSS handle site development? EMaSS helps site estate resident association or business organization to establish a procedure for bringing in site workers for purposes of developing a new site within an estate. It helps resident association to establish guidelines for development of new site within an estate. It establishes a contract between estate association and the developer on building guidelines of the estate. For example, within the guidelines that is agreed between the developer and the estate association, there could be a clause to say during the course of development, waterway or drainage should not be blocked. All developers must register their site for development on estate online database, and access will be created for site engineer in EMaSS. Site engineers must register all site workers online in EMaSS and request for access permit into the estate for a specific number of days. Estate managers will approve all access permit requests for site engineers online and print them for workers. Site engineer must present access permit at the estate security checkpoint for entry into the estate. Access is granted between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. for all site workers on weekdays and 9 to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. No work is allowed on Sundays. All site workers must leave site and estate premises by 6 p.m. each day. EMaSS provides an online database for all site workers, and any site worker or any worker caught in criminal activity is blacklisted in EMaSS. Such a worker may not be allowed access into the estate in future. Now, this is a site development membership area. Once access is created to site engineer, account is created in EMaSS, site engineer on their own can log into EMaSS. Now, if you want to watch all the launch and learn series that we have made, please visit www.bakareestate.com, click on online demo, and then you will see all the series that we have done. You can go through all the training demos that we have done. Now, for questions and inquiry, if you need this application to be installed in your estate, please send all your question and inquiry to evansuko@smartdriveportfolio.com, or you can send it to evansuko@gmail.com. If you need also to make contact with us, please, the WhatsApp number is on the screen. Now, let's quickly do a live demo to show you how site manager and site engineer could use EMaSS. So if you've been following our series, we're using bakareestate.com for example. So like I said before, access will be created to site engineer. All that the site engineer will do is to type bakareestate.com for the estate that has registered with us, and the name of the estate will also be given to him. So for example, now if you type bakareestate.com as a site engineer, if you're working in Bakare Estate, you can then click on the login. Once a site engineer logs in, he comes in here. Okay, so he has his detail up here. He can log out from here. Now these are emergency number. Remember, we told you that for all the estates in all the states in Nigeria that EMaSS is installed, we carry the emergency number. So if the site engineer have emergency on the site, he can actually get into the portal and click on emergency number. He will then have access to all emergency numbers in Lagos. If it's in Port Harcourt, you will be able to have access to all emergency number in Port Harcourt. This opportunity is provided for all the estates that install EMaSS. So site engineer can decide to change his password here. Just click on change password, and then you'll be able to provide your current password, the new password, and reconfirm the new password and say change. Then he will be able to change his password. Okay, so these are areas for quick link activity. The first thing the site engineer could do is he can actually register for workers here. Now this can also be done on phone. You just come here and then pick the name of his site, okay, and then he pick the artisan. Whether it's a carpenter, he wants to work on site, electrician, laborer, medicine, plumber, and welder. We could have a long list of artisans here. All that he needs to do, if he has an electrician, he comes here and pick an electrician, provide all the details of the electrician and say register. So that name will be available in the system. So I'll show you how you can then request for access for the electrician to be granted access to come in and work in the estate. Like we said, he will come in by 9 o'clock, because between the period of 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and 8 in the morning, it is expected that the gate will be busy for residents to go out for work. So it's not a good time for people coming into the estate to also start driving in. In most estates, that will cause a build-up or bringing in trucks at that early period in the morning. And that's why the system detects that the site workers into an estate, already developed estate, should come to work, bringing their trucks from 9 a.m. In the morning. And by 6 p.m., all the trucks and all the workers must leave the site. Okay, so this is how an engineer can come and register all his workers. And then he could also pick his site name here. This is a search button. If he search it, he will see all the workers he has registered and the different work that they would perform in sites. Okay, now he could also search based on work. Okay, so for instance, you want to see all the electrician he has registered. You can open here, pick electrician and say search. The system will generate the list of electricians that have been registered by him. I just put in these few data for test purposes to show site engineer how they can use the portal. The next thing the EMaSS allowed site engineer to do is to request access for the worker. So let's see how access can be requested. All this, he doesn't need to get to the estate. He can stay in his house, use his phone and request for access. All that he needs to do is to come pick the name of his company. Now, why are we having developer name here? In some estate, you realize that one developer may have up to 2 to 3 sites, concurrently being developed within an estate. So you will be able to specifically pick the development that he wants an engineer or he wants an artisan to go and work. Okay, so he picks a name here. It could be more than 1, it could be more than 2, depending on the number of the developing site that the developer has within an estate. So then here he comes and tells us the system allows you to apply for 1 week. Okay, so if today is Monday, you can pick from Monday. If you're sure the guy will work from Monday till Saturday, so you pick from Monday to Saturday. If it's a job that he wants to do for 2 days, you now pick 2 days here, 3rd and 4th. Okay, and this application must be done before the day that the worker will be coming to work. That will allow the estate office to be able to process pass for the workers. So if you want to work tomorrow, today is a good day to apply, or you can even apply a week to the period. So the estate office will have opportunity to prepare a pass for the worker that is coming in to work. So once you request and is approved, the estate engineer can actually print out the pass and give to the artisan that is coming to work on site. So it makes it easy. So once it comes, you just present that pass at the gate. The gate will validate the pass to be sure that it's indeed generated from their system by picking the number, the access permit number on the code and the name that is there. Once they're confirmed, they will then allow the worker to go in and work. Okay, so here you pick the artisan. If you're bringing carpenters, you say, okay, you need carpenter. And then remember that we showed you how you can register the names of the artisan. So here he has already, for this side engineer, already registered Samuel Ajayi. Okay, and then once you pick Samuel Ajayi, so you look at the full name here and the phone number for this worker, and of course you notice that the access code is already generated here. Okay, and then you say add. Now maybe you also wanted a plumber. If you look down here, you see the system has added the entry for a carpenter called Samuel Ajayi to come in and work. Okay, and then you can actually add another. If there are 2 or 3 carpenters, you can, select a carpenter again, or if it's electrician is also coming to work, you pick the electrician name, electrician here as the artisan, and then you pick the name Daniel Friday, and you say add. Remember, what you've done, look at the start date here. They will be granted access into the estate from 3rd to 4th. Okay, so 2 days, these people will come in and work. Once you finish this, you say send for approval. And that ends it. The estate manager and the CSO or the security control room of the estate will pick that request, process it, and generate a pass. That pass can be printed by the site engineer. Okay, so that's how to request for access. So you can do this without even coming to the estate. All right. Now the next thing is to view the access. Okay, so anything you put, you can actually view. All right. So today, for instance, the engineer wants to check all the requests he has made for this week. Okay, so you can pick from, say, 3rd to 8th and say the system should generate an access code that have been generated. So this is an access code, and you click on run. You'll be able to see that you've requested from 3rd of May to 4th of May. You have requested Daniel Friday, a electrician, access into the estate. And you've also requested a carpenter, Samuel Ajayi, an access into the estate. So you can actually do a view. Okay. You can also query based on site name. If you have multiple sites, you can, come here, you see all the multiple sites, and you can actually check for the access code for that particular site. So let's talk about the next one. You can check whether approval has been given. Once you do that request, you check if approval has been given to you. Okay. Let's even look at, let's see if you have any approval. Okay. So this has not been approved yet. But let's see if we have any previous approval, which we can use for this example. Let me do from 1st March. If there are test data for it, which we can demonstrate. Okay, so we have one here, and you say run. So when you click here, you see that there was a request here from 1st of May to 3rd of July. Okay, this is a test data. Okay, so this may not be valid because we have said that a site engineer should do requests on weekly basis. Okay, so this is how the approval screen actually look like. These are other condition, other criteria you can use to search. You can actually use approval status to check for those ones that were rejected and those ones that were approved. Okay, you can also do a check based on the number of sites. Like I said, you can actually have multiple number of sites. Okay, so the next one is you can actually view, to see workers that have actually checked in, because when they present their access code at the security checkpoint of the estate will actually check them in and also check them out. Now, those that have not checked out, the site engineer will be made accountable for them. Now, if you look at other activities, here, the first thing here is the guideline for development. Now, we request all estates to publish their guidelines. So, as the site engineer is created and access to, you will be able to read all the guidelines that the estate has established for development of new sites in the estate. And then a contract should be signed between the developer and the estate to say these are the rules that we have agreed. So that also will be uploaded into the system, which both parties can view. Okay. Now you can once most estate collect levy, development levy. Okay. So if an estate has assessed a developer for a development levy, you can actually look at what the assessment was here. So when you click here, you will see the engineer. Look at the site here. This site is 3 million naira that is being assessed for as a development levy. And then you can actually check how much you have actually paid. You can check here the development payment that the developer has paid. Okay, so if you come here, pick this particular site and say run, the system will show you all the payment that this developer has done, and yes, out of 3 million within the period of development, he has paid 2.1 million naira, and it's still remaining 900,000 as balance. Okay, and then if the developer also wants to, site engineer wants to make payment, here you can actually view the estate different bank account number, so you can go and pay into this account. Okay, so that's how far we can go. This is all about site development and how to check the excesses of people with criminal tendencies, kidnappers, and the people that will gain access, pretend as site workers, gain access into an estate. this actually restricts movement in and out of estate. Thank you. I'll see you in the next section.